Hello, hello, welcome to Quantum Heart Awakening. I'm Karen. Welcome to our little space here on the internet. I really appreciate you being here. Anytime you watch these videos, like, share, subscribe, it is helping us shift collective consciousness towards authenticity, unconditional love, and infinite oneness. Today, we are going to do a twin flame reading. So as usual, masculines on the left, feminines on the right, and the union energies down the center. Okay, everybody get grounded. Take a moment for yourself. Take some deep breaths. And let's get into it. Okay, Spirit. Thank you for masculines. We have community in reverse. I'm not even going to start talking because once I start... All right, what do we got here? Flexibility, soulmates in reverse, and yang masculine energy. I love when that happens. It's not an accident. Okay. And for feminines and for feminine energy, thank you so much. Let's see where we go. This is not an accident. To the sea in reverse and breathe. Union energies down the center. Union energies. Actually, you know what? Anything else for feminine collective? Anything else for feminine collective? I knew there was something else. Thank you so much. And the never-ending story. Okay. Let's get them all out and then we'll dive in. Let's get them all out. Thank you. Union energies. Anything else for union? Thank you. Anything else? Geez, a lot of messages coming out. Anything else? Okay, perfect. Thank you, Spirit. Let's get it all out. Hold on, bear with me. I'm trying to organize these cards so they make sense. Lots of reversals. Okay. So I was just about to start humming in the middle of a reading. I don't think that's ever happened to me before. I felt like I was alone with myself and I forgot what I was doing. All right, let's start in the unconscious position. As you all know, this is like my favorite place to start. Maybe we'll put it over here today. Okay, deep knowing in reverse. So, okay. There's a truth that is out of your consciousness right now that once this becomes illuminated, it's going to change everything. But something about, and mind you, this is a collective union energy. So I'm just realizing it's not on camera. We're just going to put it right there. Okay, I'm getting distracted. Bear with me. Yeah, for feminines and masculines, something is not connected with your intuition. And, you know, I always say that your self-esteem and your intuition are directly related. So if you're struggling to discern which choice to make, which direction to go in, tune in to your self-esteem. Do a little self-care check. How are you feeling with your self-esteem? Do you feel good about yourself? Do you feel frustrated with yourself? Do you feel tired? Do you feel cloudy? If that's true, instead of trying to bang your head against a wall, trying to solve a problem with limited resources, put all of your energy instead into boosting your self-esteem. This could be physically, mentally, spiritually, energetically, whatever that looks like for you, okay? All right, let's get into the readings. Let's take a moment to digest all of this. Let's see. All right, Spirit, let's start with masculine energies. So masculines, you are at an interesting place with community. We have this community card in reverse. I'm wondering if some of you have outgrown your current environment, your group of friends, your community, your neighborhood. Maybe it's your church community, your religious community. There's something here that because of this new wisdom that is just lying outside of your consciousness, once this comes in, it's going to allow you to feel more confident in your masculine energy. You're going to feel more sturdy. That's the word that's coming out here. Your goal, masculines, is as these changes are moving through. Now, sorry, Spirit interrupted myself right there. So we also have the soulmate card in reverse. Maybe, someone you connected with because they were a part of your community, some form of community, and you connected with them and joined your life with them because of this community. Maybe because you're no longer in alignment with the greater group at large, it's putting pressure on whatever connection you're in. Just to give you a very real world example, maybe, you met someone at temple, at the mosque, in church, through your family, and you started a relationship with them because your parents are friends and the families get along and blah, 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 blah. Well, when you go through a spiritual awakening, masculines, and you are now questioning the very bodies of thought, the very groups of people that you grew up with, this is all root chakra individuation. You're questioning what you grew up with. You're questioning what your elders taught you. You're dropping that knowledge through your chakra system, and you're like, okay, do I think this is true? Do I feel this true? Are the words that I speak are true? How do I feel confident in the words that I'm sharing or that this community is sharing? Does what I'm receiving from this community serve my creativity, serve my stability? Right there, what I just said, all of that I just said, I ran it through each of the chakras. That's what we're doing when you go through a spiritual awakening. You're questioning everything. And rightfully so. This is a really important rite of passage for you, masculines. So go easy on yourself if you're questioning your relationship because you're questioning everything else. This is a time for you to remain really flexible. Try not to look at your life as a problem to solve. Rather, get curious and anchor yourself deeply in curiosity. Allow your circumstances to work on you. Instead of you working on it, allow them to work on you. Because most of this transformational alchemical work is hands off. If you think about a chemist in a laboratory, oftentimes, the chemist is the one that chooses which chemicals they want to mix together. And then at some point, once they choose to put this chemical in the beaker and this chemical in the beaker, a chemical reaction will take place whether that chemist or scientist has involvement or not. After they choose to put those chemicals together, they're not in control anymore of what happens with the chemical reaction. And so there's something here, masculines, where it's a very hands-off energy. Oh, thank you, Spirit. So when you think of flexibility, oftentimes we think of the feminine energy, right? Feminine flow, the spiral, the spiritual path. And I found it interesting that we have this yang energy and flexibility. So masculines, lean on your inner feminine. Get curious and flow with what's in front of you. Flow with the mystery. Take the pressure off of needing to solve the mystery, right? I just listened to this really beautiful little speech or little video of Georgia O'Keeffe, the famous artist. And the interviewer, she's a very old woman at this point, and the interviewer was shocked, like, oh, wow, it still is hard work for you to, do your art. And I love Georgia O'Keeffe's answer. She's like, of course it is. She's like, you do a painting and you're looking at the canvas and maybe there's a corner of the painting that something needs to go there, but you're not quite sure what it's supposed to look like. And she says, I will not know until that moment upon which I'm confronting that situation. And that is the feminine flow. That is the surrendering to the mystery, to allow yourself, to trust yourself that you have all of the tools within you, masculines, to confront that moment, that you will know what to do. Your masculine energy, your masculine fire, that penetrative energy that ignites, different things that you want to bring into fruition, will know what to do as long as you stay in connection with your feminine. We need the balance, right? That's what this whole twin flame path is about. I recently ran into someone who had a very Hollywood reaction to me talking about twin flame. They just thought it was this fairy tale, a woman and a man and blah, 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 blah. It was very, conventional, whatever. But for me, the twin flame path, I started thinking of it as a ladder. And the right, you have the two sides of the ladder, and then you have the rungs. Each side of the ladder is the feminine. One is the feminine, one is the masculine. And the rungs of the ladder are our rites of passage, are our collection of life experience on this journey of illumination and enlightenment. So we really can't, a ladder doesn't work unless you have both sides, right? We need both sides in balance, in equal, durability, sturdiness, to be able to properly ascend, right? To take another confident step on this path. We need both in balance. And that's what this journey is all about, coming into that beautiful, balanced inner union. Okay, that's all I'm going to say for masculines right now. Let's move on to feminines. Where are we going, Spirit? Where are we going? All right, we have this To the Sea card, which for me notoriously is this vision quest card. Some decks will portray a vision quest usually as the desert, right? When you think wandering in the desert, you think, people on a pilgrimage from one state of consciousness to another, right? We are fleeing one area, one environment because it no longer serves us, and we are investing our faith in the unknown, knowing that the path will appear beneath our feet. So To the Sea, feminines, and it's in reverse. Let me go over everything else. So we have Breathe and the Never Ending Story. Feminines, there might be some of you who are feeling the weight of the spiral, the weight of going through the same experiences over and over and over again, and they seem not to change. It's really important that you honor how you're feeling. That's first and foremost. I'm a lifelong recovering empath and highly sensitive person. So I used to feel really ashamed of my emotions because I felt everything so deeply, and I felt like my emotions were controlling me instead of the other way around, until I heard wisdom from the appropriate mentors. One of my mentors said that the pursuit of emotions is the pursuit of God. And that's a pretty loaded statement, feminines. The pursuit of emotions is the pursuit of God. What did she mean by that? By the way, Carolyn May said that. What did she mean by that? Well, the pursuit of emotions allows us to peel back the layers of our truth, right? When we have an emotion, usually it's our truth spilling out of our bodies before our minds can even wrap our head around what's going on. Therefore, our emotions actually hold more wisdom usually than our thinking minds, right? Because it's pure, it's authentic, it's an actual pure reaction or response to the matter at hand. Yes, we can get into the difference between emotions and feelings and, reactions versus responses. That's a whole nother reading. That's a whole nother talk. However, more often than not, our emotions are the stepping stones to a deeper truth. And the closer we can get to our truth, the closer we can commune with the divine, the closer we can allow that sacred special place that we are alone with the quantum field, with God, with the universe, whatever your flavor of God is. The more that you are alone with God as your most authentic self, the more God can love you as you actually are. Not who you portray yourself to be, but to who you actually are deep down inside. Why are we talking about this? Again, feminines, we have the never-ending story here. This cute little, sweet little fairy person sitting on a sand timer with her face in her hands, looking a little tattered, looking exhausted. Maybe you feel like you've been running the same race over and over and over again, never to cross a finish line. One of my other spiritual mentors, James Finley, always says, the master is the one who's willing to try just one more time, to ask a question just one more time, to get back up just one more time. The master isn't someone who's magically arrived at this specific destination of enlightenment and blah, 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 all these Hollywood version of that sort of enlightened being. The master is the one who's willing to try one more time. So feminines, this is it. You have this breathe card. It's not an accident you have this breathe card. You are being called to bring all of your awareness to what's showing up on your side of the path and take radical accountability with ruthless love, with ruthless self-compassion over what is showing up on your side of the street. Oftentimes on this twin flame path, we want to be really consumed or we are consumed with what the other person is doing or what the collective is doing or what's moving in society and politics and all these other things that we can get swept up in their vortex of their tornado of their stuff. But our job on this spiritual path is to learn the appropriate management of our power, to learn how to call your spirit back from places it doesn't belong. It's literally like, can you just call your attention back? Okay, you're triggered, you're activated, you're heartbroken, you're in sorrow, grief, despair, depression, you name it. Can you honor what's showing up for you and then call your attention back as your capital S self, as your higher self, as the one that is witnessing the version of you that's having that experience, but staying unblended from it, to look at it at what your avatar is going through from a distance and to shine love for that avatar, for those parts of self that are deeply lost, that are grieving, that are in sorrow, despair, depression, fear, you name it. Can you just witness yourself almost as like a grandmother would witness her grandchildren playing on the floor? Oh, look, little Susie is sad again. And it doesn't change how that grandmother feels about her grandchild. It doesn't change the amount of love she feels, right? She's just witnessing this beloved grandchild have this experience. It doesn't change anything. She doesn't come in and swipe in and try to save that little girl. She just holds love. That's all your job. That's your greatest job right now, feminines, is to just breathe. Breathe your way through whatever is moving through you in the present moment. I never really talked more about what this card is. Again, feminines, you might be seeking answers and you're not going to get them right now. So cut it out. It's just exhausting you and you're draining all of your energy. You're really meant to just bring your awareness to your somatic experience, to what is moving in your body, and just take care of your body, right? When a child has a tantrum, I feel like I just said this in yesterday's reading. When a child has a tantrum, you can't really stop that sort of freight train once it's going 100 miles an hour. All you can do is hold a loving, safe environment for that child to move through that expulsion of all of that wonderful life force, because that's what it is. It's just life force. It's just that little child is having a psychoactivation. It's just something in the psyche, something bumped up against some debris in the psyche, and it's creating this tantrum. And that's fine. That's okay. As long as they're not harming themselves or others, it's okay. And more oftentimes than not, it's really healthy for that energy to move through the body. So yeah, feminines, if you're seeking answers right now, let it go. You're not going to get the answers. You can't push the river on this one, right? You cannot force an answer to come. Your only work now is to surrender. Okay, beautiful. That was a lot. Where are we at? We're 20 minutes in. Okay. Union energies here. Let's take a look. We have time to go in reverse. We have a lot of reversals actually. Round and round, chop wood, and going the distance. Okay. Very interesting message here. I'm going to use my little glass pointer. Going the distance. I love this because this is the spiritual path, right? This is the nature of the beast. I'm sorry, I had to say it that way. This is just the nature and the beast. In order, hold on, I'm getting flooded. I think masculines and feminines, some of you think that because you're having a cyclical experience, that you're confronting the same things within yourself over and over again. Some of you think that something is wrong. And some of you are using your precious life force to be mad about that, when in essence, this is actually the day-to-day business of becoming more self-aware. To go the distance is to have the stamina. Hold on. I just want to show you guys all of this. To go the distance is to have the stamina to do the same thing every day, to chop wood and carry water, to wake up and take care of yourself, to wake up and brush your teeth and have gratitude and make a healthy choice to eat a healthy meal, and to make a healthy choice to hydrate enough, to make a healthy choice to go to bed on time and to wake up on time and to get enough sleep, to move your body. This is the nature of humanity. This is our work. We cannot wish our way, we cannot work our way to avoid this work. Chopping wood and carrying water and becoming a master of these moment-to-moment decisions, and to learn how to wield our life force, our power, our will in such a way that surrenders at will, right? Sorry, I said that really fast, and that's not a small spiritual idea. This is the divine. Let's just name this. The divine speaks in paradox. What is big is really small. What is small is really big. Okay, hold on. Let me just sit with that for a moment. The irony of this spiritual path is that we, in the early days, are learning how to develop a strong will, so strong that we could actually surrender that will. It seems counterintuitive, but we work so hard to control ourselves, to be, masters of our own little universe, to learn how to be a diligent captain of our ship, to learn how to navigate this life, to have a really strong will so that we can control ourselves instead of letting external sources control us. And when we finally can do that, ironically, that's the moment we have to surrender our will to divine will. We work on having such a strong will only to surrender it to the quantum field, to something higher, surrender it to the mystery, right? Because we don't have all the answers around where we're going and where we're meant to be, where we are called to serve. It is up to us to choose to surrender to something greater than ourselves. I haven't mentioned it once, but we have this time to go card here in reverse. It's a double-edged sword, and I always love those because there's a lot of you here and I don't know who I'm reading for. So let's keep that in mind. So one side of this time to go coin is some of you are holding on to something you're meant to let go of. And I say that with such grace, love, and compassion and empathy, because it is really hard to get to that moment of surrender and actually surrender. We could look at it for years. Like I always give the example of my job. I worked in a hospital in clinical nutrition for 15 years, and I knew 6 years before I left it was time for me to go. It took me 6 years to build up enough inner fortitude, inner strength, enough self-love where I drew a line in the sand and I said, no, I am going to wield my sovereignty in a way that honors my spirit, instead of continuing to betray myself and abandon these parts of myself that are screaming this intuition at me. That's one side of it. So again, just to recap, feminine, Did I say feminines this whole time? I think I did when I'm remembering. Thank you, Spirit. This is union energies. So this is for feminines and masculines. Some of you are holding on to something you're meant to let go of. Could be a partner, a job, could be a unsuccessful relationship with the parent of your child. Some of you are just meant to let go and let God. Surrender it all. Now, for the other group of you, some of you will be called to let go of something you didn't think was an issue. Some of you who have been going round and round on this spiritual path of self-awareness, of self-accountability, to learn more about what's blocking love, what's in the way of that resonance right now, what's in the way of happiness, of joy, of abundance, what's in the way of my soul mission, my soul ignition. And you're going to be tested. You're going to be shown something that you're meant to let go of. And remember that I'm telling you this. I'm giving you a cosmic heads up that you might be challenged. It's almost like, I don't want to say this to scare anybody, but I'm telling you so you won't be scared. Some of you might have a small, not a big one. It feels very micro, so don't get too worried. Some of you might have a micro rug pulled out from under you. Maybe a person or a friend isn't who you thought they were. Maybe you discovered somebody doing something that was sort of low vibe, low frequency, or something negative. Maybe you discover you had a double membership to something and it was like bleeding you dry every month. It's nothing too big. It's not like, you're getting fired or somebody dies. It's nothing big. It's like there's like a mini thing that you're going to be called to task. You're going to be called to see if you can handle this adversity with grace. That is the test. That is the lesson. Can you let go and let God with whatever this is? Spirit, do you have any other examples you want me to share, or are we good to go? We're good to go. All right, let's move on. I can't believe we're already a half hour deep and I haven't even used another deck yet. Let's get specifics. I like the second layer of the reading to be specific. So thank you, Spirit. Okay. Masculines, you're being called to allow yourself to be loved. Allow yourselves to be loved by the divine. If you have no one else in your life that can share this compassion, it's up to you to share this compassion with yourself and to allow God to love you, basically. Anything else about masculines? Anything else? Can you say a little bit more about what this is about? Whoa, I got an avalanche. Hold on. I'm not taking all of these, but I will take the flippers. All right, we have relationship change, which is in alignment with the soulmate in reverse we mentioned earlier, patience and individuality. Okay, beautiful. This is in perfect alignment with what I was sharing about the root chakra with your community. Listen, when you are born into this life, I don't know what you believe in, how we get here. Do you sign soul contracts? Do we choose to incarnate? Do you believe that we choose our family, our friends, our parents, when we want to come here? Who knows? Doesn't matter. The point here is when you come into a family, when you are lucky enough to win the lottery of life and you have a physical vessel on this planet, it is your nuclear family and community that installs the hard drive of your worldview, right? Whatever culture you live in comes with a certain set of beliefs. It's a whole belief system. It's a whole belief system of how you operate in the world, how you worship, how you work, how you serve community. You get this whole hard drive of information installed in you when you are born. And then you grow up. And then it is your path to individuating from the pack, to learn who you are as an individual, to start questioning. That's why like they call it teenage rebellion, because you get to that age where you're sort of pre-adulthood, young adulthood, where you're starting to question anything. Well, why are these adults telling me to do what I'm supposed to do? I don't agree with that. It doesn't feel good. And you have this inner revolution boiling in the chakras, right? Usually in the gut, in the lower chakras. This is the ignition, the initiation on this path of individuation. Masculine, some part of you is going through this sort of like inner teenage rebellion to become more sovereign, to become more of an individual, to solidify your own truth, your beliefs, your position on the planet. You're being called to have patience as this process rips through you. And I use the word rip because the visual I'm getting is like a freaking tornado coming through. And, I'm picturing that very conventional Hollywood landscape of a tornado touching down on a farm, and it rips up the farmhouse and the sheds and the chicken coop. And then you see a rogue cow fly by in the tornado. This is a lot of dense energy for you masculines, and all you can do is hunker down and deploy compassion on this very crazy path, especially if your new belief system is in conflict with your relationships. Maybe it's your intimate relationship, maybe it's, where you work and your friends, and, you could just orbit out from there. This sort of, they're showing me like your nuclear connection, and then your bigger relationships, and then work and community and culture and et cetera, et cetera. So just hunker down and flood yourself with empathy and compassion and grace. Okay, that was a lot of talking. Breathe, feminines. Anything for feminines? Can you share more about what would support them? Yeah, okay. Thank you. Anything else? I think that's enough. Okay. We immediately had pride. We immediately had creativity and health. Again, let's remember, feminines, your message was about taking care of your body. Do not ask questions. You will not get the answers right now. The question that I think has been, let me say it this way. You ask the divine a question. You ask the universe a question. The answer to this question is not the answer you wanted. The answer to this question is you need to learn how to take care of your health and your body and your creativity and whatever God-given gifts you were here to share with the planet. You need to learn how to do this first before you can get an answer to whatever your bigger question is. This is a total, this is in complete alignment with what happens on the spiritual path. Spirit will not grant you the big wishes or the big work or the big daddy answers until you can master the mini day-to-day activities. For instance, I always get really small and micro with this to just show you the nature of the beast. Okay, think about your discernment as building a muscle. When you go to the gym, you don't start benching like 300 pounds. You might start with little weights or maybe just the bar by itself, right? You have to commit to this process of slowly and intentionally building muscle. This is the same with your discernment. Building self-esteem is a muscle. It takes layer upon layer, total commitment, showing up every day with love and curiosity and space, silence, so that you can hear what your body is communicating with you. So if you get the intuition to go for a walk, you are meant to then go for a walk. If you get the intuition to go for a walk and then you do not go for a walk, Spirit's like, well, they're not listening to their small intuition, so why are they going to listen to the big intuition? We have to build this work in steps, baby steps, micro steps, by getting micro present with what's moving through our bodies at each given moment. Separate message here for feminines. You need to take more pride in yourself. You need to take more pride in your health, your time, nurturing your creativity. This is lower 3 chakra stuff. your sensual experience in the world, your pleasure, your joy. You need to take more, place more value on nurturing these things. And for union energies, it came right out. For union energies, we have healing. That feels so good to receive after this dense reading. I could tell because my throat is really dry. Hold on, water break. Ooh, okay, I really needed that. What are we healing, Spirit? What is the collective healing? What do we need to know about this inner union, this divine matrimony, this hierogamy, as I call it? Wow. Okay, I'm cracking up. #ordinary. I haven't said a hashtag in a while. That felt gross coming out of my mouth, but it's said and it's out to the public. Can't change it. I'm just cracking up. The synchronicity is unreal. What are we healing? We're healing spiritual partnerships. We're healing our nature. We're getting back into connection with our true, most authentic way of showing up in the world. God, our spiritual partnership, this could be not, I mean, most of you are probably, your first thought is like your union with your divine counterpart. Sure, that's absolutely part of this. But the bigger part of this is your connection to spirit. What is your relationship to the divine, to God? Do you believe in God? Do you believe in the natural world? I don't care what you believe in, but I think for a healthy, grounded way of living, we have to believe in something greater than ourselves. I don't care if that's the love of someone else or the love of animals or what. I don't care what your God is. Whatever this is, we are returning and reclaiming something that has been in us, we are part of the natural world. What's so interesting when we think about nature, so many of us actually now in the modern world have to go schedule time to go be in nature. At what point on the planet did we stop considering ourselves part of nature? We are just as much part of nature as the trees and the bees and the weeds and all the things. So we are healing our connection to source. We are healing our pineal glands. We are healing that crystalline structure that allows us to receive wisdom from that crystalline structure. Picture it like an antenna, a quantum cosmic antenna that allows us to receive that sort of oneness, that love, to allow that truth of that, the fact that we breathe as one, that there is no other, to allow it into our hearts, to allow it to fill our bodies, to sustain us. Woo! Anything else about that? What else are we healing? Thank you. Yeah, we have time. We're look at this. Timeout in reverse. We're healing our schedules. We're healing the pace at which we walk through the world. I just sent my friend a message talking about how sometimes I get a little vulnerable and insecure when I meet new friends because I live a very unconventional life. I live a life closer to that of a monastic, of like a monk or a friar or a nun or a sister or something. Actually, sisters are not cloistered. I grew up in a Catholic high school. I should know better. That just came out of my mouth. Anyway, we are healing this rhythm. I think sometimes people, when I meet new friends and people that I really love, sometimes I feel insecure that they think I don't like them or that I don't want to nurture a friendship with them. But I just move at such a slow pace that I have spent my whole life peeling back the layers to uncover this sacred pace of life, a pace that allows me to hear what is moving through my system. I've coined this phrase, I haven't heard anyone else say, the speed of love. The speed of love is any pace that allows us to bring truth and love with us at the same time. I've had to leave a lot of people, places, and things behind in order to cultivate this way of living. It's very difficult. It's exhausting to try to live this spiritual life in a fast-paced, very conventional world. And that's what we're doing. We're shifting collective consciousness so that my pace of life, any pace of life that honors the sanctity of human nature, of nature. So we are healing our schedules. Anything else? What else are we healing? Hold on. We are healing our more connection with spirit. We are healing the trust in the divine. We are healing our faith. We are healing our grace. We are healing any sort of blocks to surrender, any sort of fear that sneaks in when we are trying to stay rooted in love. Beautiful. I think I might leave it there. Let's just get hold on, bear with me. I just got to get some twin flame cards, because why not? Whoop, they're coming flying out. I'm not making this up. We had surrender that came out right after the surrender card. If some of you are going through a dark night of the soul, just go through it. Don't try to be anywhere other than exactly where you are. Be present with the pain, with the grief, with whatever density you're confronting. Because let me tell you, the harder the path, the bigger the treasures are on the other side. And then we have increase your frequency, higher conscious awareness. What's on the other side of this surrender and dark night of the soul is your higher conscious awareness. Anything else, Spirit? Okay, we have the electric creative expression. You know what's funny? Freudian slip. I was about to say creative expansion, which echoes this sort of creativity for me. Anything else? What else are we healing? What else do we need to know? We have feminine twin activating higher self. Feminines, you are the feminine side is the portal to the other side. It's quite literally I always call the feminine energy the bouncer at the club for divine gnosis to flow through. When you heal your body, when you heal somatically and heal your lower chakras, you will be unstoppable. And this will help anchor, this will help stabilize the energies of the masculine and feminine. Anything else, Spirit? God, I could keep going. I'm not taking these. Too many. Let's just get one more, Spirit. One more, please. What would you like to share with these beloveds? Thank you so much. Okay, we have reprogram your soul, release, raise, and reclaim. Again, this is a nod to raising your self-esteem. You can't do anything without self-esteem. Self-esteem is what makes the engine go. It's the gas in the tank. And yes, if you don't have self-esteem, you might not go very far, or you might not go very far in the right direction. And of course, we could argue that there's no wrong direction, that every direction, every life experience helps fine-tune our discernment so we can make a better choice, right? They always talk about failing forward. What that actually means is make sure that if you fail, if something doesn't go how you wanted it to go, make sure you learn everything about that experience so that you can make a new choice, so that your past moment can fuel or fund your future moment. Okay. And then let's just get a quick affirmation. Where are they? I'm just grabbing one. I'm not even shuffling. I'm just grabbing a rando. Oh, we got two. We have, I recognize the synchronicities and I am focused on key tasks. I'm just going to read this one because it feels important. The universe is speaking to you, so pay attention. Patterns, coincidences, and serendipity are all signs of recognition, motivation, and support that you are making progress on your life path. Wait, no, I'm not done. I need to get one Wandering Woods card. What do we got? This is like the third patience card we have in this reading. Patience, everything can be accomplished at nature's pace. We have another card honoring the natural world, honoring the nature within ourselves. We have moved so far away from the natural rhythm, from the sacred rhythms, that we are in this space of cultivating, reclaiming, and remembering what pace is sacred to the soul. Woo! Intense reading. Much love to all of you. I hope this was supportive. If you have any comments or questions, please contact me. Check out my website, KarenVitello.com. You can reach me at quantumheartawakening@gmail.com or through the website. I'm available. This is what we do day in, day out. We are in service to collective consciousness, trying to shove it in a way that brings about more authenticity, more unconditional love, and more oneness on the planet. Thank you for being here.